Hello guys and welcome back to another video describing to you why I think the series on Netflix the voice I'm making is retarded. Okay. Um so this is why I think that Outer Banks, the show on Netflix, is pretty keynote. It is really good. Now, I finished watching it recently and I had to make a video on it. And you know what? People are gonna say, well, this is in politics. Oh, this is like your TikTok video. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Seriously, stop nagging me in the comments. Okay, back to the video. I'm starting out, I'm reading, I'm doing shit. I see these white girls. I go on TikTok, believe it or not, I look on TikTok like once or twice a week and I check what's going on with the youth. And then I see, oh, Outer Banks, and they're doing this challenge. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is a John B? What is this? And it turns out that it is its own thing. It's got a big fandom. And so I look on Netflix. It's like the #1 show trending. And pretty interesting, right? So then I go and a brother got a cop a look and I see the cast. I say, okay, this is reasonable. I see the plot. Okay, so there's a missing treasure in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Of course, we see here East North Carolina. That's Trump country. Anyways, we move and I move on to watching it, of course, in 1.5 speed. And I'm told by some people close that it's keynote, it's lit. And so I start watching it, and ultimately I like the scenario, I like the plot, I like how there's a class dynamic insofar as there's rich people, I think the kooks, and poor people, the pogues. Okay, so again, the country club, white people, and then there's like the blacks and the whites, white trash, in the Outer Banks called the pogues. And I think that's interesting because I think that does happen a lot in sea towns, right? That there's like a country club, and then there's the people that are working in the marina, people that are fishing, people that are scraping barnacles and shit. So I like that, and also appreciate the fact that the climate in the area is also cool, right? The Pamlico Sound, or whatever you want to call it, the sort of like, okay, there's just like local environment, right? So within the barrier islands, and then beyond that there's a large expanse of nothing, and I like it because the treasure is somewhere in between. And that is interesting. Also, another thing, these characters are all like what, like 16 at the beginning? Bullshit. Obviously, they're all older than that. But anyway, we have multiple characters here, and I'm assuming you've already watched the show, because if you haven't already, then why, I don't see why you'd be hearing this. But anyways, there's a lot of characters, and what I find interesting is the appeal of the show. Now, the target demographic, I presume, are white girls, right? Like, ideally, it'd be like white girls born in the early 2000s. Okay, so girls my age, and they are deeply fascinated with the show. And I'm like, okay, well, why? White women are stupid. Well, obviously, it is because of the guys. So the one, I think John B is the main character, right? So of course he's like 6 feet tall, fucking chiseled jawline. Okay, so we have like these male models as the main characters, uh, excluding the black guy. The black guy looks average, and then you have a couple of the girls on the show. Now, I don't know why, but the guys are into the black girl. I don't know why. She's average to me. I'm not into black women, so that explains it. Sarah Cameron, though, on the other hand, geez, as a 15-year-old would say, sheesh, or whatever. She's very hot, and that's part of the reason why I saw the show. And a lot of people fail to mention, few will notice, few will notice, few will point this out. It's very true. A lot of the reason why I would watch a show is because, I like this actor. I like this. Oh, that's good acting. Oh, wow. Brad Pitt's in it. Oh, okay. Interesting. Morgan Freeman's in it. Okay. But no, hot girls in it. Okay. I'll watch it. Fuck it. Why not? So I watch it. It keeps my attention. First episode, whatever, second, okay. But fourth episode, I'm getting into it, and it's getting interesting. The knives are turning. There's a lot of twists, and I like it. And then you move on, and there's flashbacks, and that's even better. And there's more dynamics. Okay, so for example, John B, right, likes a girl. It doesn't work out, I think. Moves on to the Sarah Cameron girl, right? And of course, they fall in love with each other. But there's the boyfriend who's 5'9". Of course, keep to mention this. So the tapper guy, is jealous, a little bitch. They fight, whatever. So the country club boyfriend gets cocked by John B. Eventually, John B has a bad family situation. He has to move in with Ward Cameron and his daughter, obviously Sarah. And Ward Cameron is like this like Rick Grimes looking like 50-year-old white guy, and takes him in. And so you think, wow, Ward's a nice guy. He used to be a pogue, he used to be poor, but he worked his way up. That's impressive. Anyways, he honestly, I liked him, and then it turns out, well, no, he's actually double crossing everybody. Spoiler alert, and that's also good because I feel like when you show the dynamic of a villain as being more than one dimension and having good reasons for doing what he does, I feel like that accentuates the show in general. So it increasingly seems to me uh, like it was masterfully made. Okay, now if you look at other people in the show, they are definitely more one dimensional, but there's definitely, I like the appreciation for the villains in the show. Okay, so Ward in particular, he wants to protect his family and he wants to make his family rich. And he's spent like the last 20 years trying to get a treasure, right? This treasure from the Royal Merchant, this old like British ship from hundreds of years ago, like 200 years ago. And it has like 200 or 400 million dollars worth of gold in it. So I think that's really cool, and there's a map for it and all this shit and potential lore. And basically Ward tries to get John B's father to get that gold for him, and it doesn't work out. Ward accidentally kills John B's father, or presumably does, and then tries to get away with it all. And ostensibly the dad's out of the picture. Ward reaches a dead end, doesn't find the gold for a long time until John B finds something regarding Redfield, whatever have you. He eventually, through a lot of sweat, blood, and tears, gets to where the gold is, and then Ward presumably is trying to help him, which in case I'd say, you know what, nice guy, he's going to help him, he's going to take a little cut, whatever. And then it's like, well, no, actually, he's trying to take all of it, I think, or a good bulk, and that's fucked up, right? But he does it anyway, and he even tries to kill John B. And then when he escapes, he makes it look like John B tried to kill him. So then presumably John B becomes a murderer, okay, or an attempted murderer, and so the island is all after him. And so he has to escape. So he escapes with a girlfriend, right? But the girlfriend, now this is an interesting dynamic. So he's chasing this guy he wants to kill very badly, but he has his daughter with him. Of course, the slut white girl daughter, thoughting it out, goes with the Chad, right? He goes with John B, right? And I forgot to mention about Rafe. Now, Rafe is the older brother of Sarah, the son of Ward, the oldest son. He is a kook country club guy, of course, but he's the twist is he's like Hunter Biden. He's a drug addict, and he's crazy. He's like schizo. He's crazy. So he goes and basically eats into other people's drugs. He's over here fiending. He's borrowing money. He's stealing money from his dad, whatever have you, and he eventually gets him into a compromising position after compromising position to the point where he ends up killing a cop. Okay, and because he kills the cop, oh shit, I forgot. Okay, so he kills this black girl, right? This cop, and that gets blamed on John B, and that's why the island is after him. And that's besides the point of the attempted murder on Ward, presumably. Okay, so he has those two things going against him. So he has to flee the island. Meanwhile, Ward is trying to find him, and Ward wants the gold. John B somehow organizes to get the gold with these like black island, like in the Bahamas, right? And Rafe ends up shooting his sister in the hip, and so there's the whole like, oh, she's gonna die, I have to kiss her just to wake up, and all that. And then that's the second season. She survives, they make it back, and ultimately the dad, and I'm skipping around because I don't want to get bored like talking about it too much, but the dad fakes his own death on a yacht, and I think that's pretty cool. Why? Because he again, the dad is awesome as a character, because Ward is evil, but he's evil for a good reason, right? He's like, it's my family, it's Fast and Furious, it's my family, it's my gold, and all that. And so he has a lot of valid reasons to do what he does. And he's a complete psycho, which is awesome. I love that, that aspect of characters, right? The sociopathy. And he goes around and he fakes his death. His daughter has to see him die. Of course, he just fucking jumps off into the water like in a scuba gear and escapes somehow, like retarded. I don't know. Anyways, he survives. Also, it's revealed that John B's father survived somehow on washed up on an island, Tom Hanks style. Doubt, and what else happened? And then I haven't even gotten into the side characters. The side characters are interesting too. I like the dynamic between the father and the blonde guy. The blonde guy being what's his name? I forgot already. Anyways, the blonde guy has a dad who's a complete douche. Terrible father. The dynamic between the black girl and the black dad and the white mom, interesting as well. What else? Pope with the black dad, interesting. There's a whole history about like his great 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 like freeman slave ancestor with like a key or something, and then there's like the crippled white lady who wants the treasure very badly as well to like heal her paralyzed state. What else? The little sister of Sarah, who's irrelevant. We have the mom, the stepmom, the wife of Ward, irrelevant as well. Okay, we have Rafe. We have the cop. The cops are sort of corrupt, but after a while they see the light, which I didn't think would happen. That never happens. The corrupt cops would be like, "Oh shit, really? Oh god, okay, well, okay, this time we're gonna be effective." Like, come on, that doesn't happen in Mexico. Okay, trust me. So that's that. That's the show. That's how I'm gonna cover it. I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, that's me rambling. I decided on this video topic 30 seconds before, or 2 minutes before I recorded this video. So if it looks like it, it's because I did. I literally looked up Outer Banks, clicked on the Wikipedia, found this picture, and thought, okay, well, instead of spending half an hour setting up a slideshow or something of like the characters, I felt like that'd be awkward and that'd be cringy. I don't want to like be like, okay, so there's this other teenager that I'm going to show you. There's this other teenager I want to show you. There's just the corporate logo of Netflix. Like, I don't need to do that. I'm going to show you literally an Outer Bank of North Carolina, and I'm going to tell you about the show as fast as I can recollect it. And the problem with me is that I consume so much media so fast that I lose a lot of retention. Okay, so like if you were to read one book over 1 year, you'd remember all of it. Whereas if you read 100 books over 1 year, which you could feasibly do, it'd be hard, but you could still do that. It would be almost impossible to retain all of it. Now you're gonna know more than one book, but there's diminishing returns. So for example, I've seen like 5 movies in the last week. So I barely remember Outer Banks at this point, which is ridiculous. Like I remember seeing all of it, like in 3 days, and I retained maybe 20% of that. So whatever I just told you on this show on this channel, basically is what I still remember from it. And there's still a lot more that I haven't mentioned because that's still like far out into my head that I don't want to bother. So again, call me sleepy, call me Sleepy Joe, whatever. That's whatever. My mind's fried right now, like chicken, and I'm going to leave you crispy and tender. So bye, guys. Oh wait, actually no, I forgot to rate it. You always have to rate it. You always have to rate the girl. You always have to rate the show, the movie. So I would rate Outer Banks out of 10, probably an 8, very solid. The cast was good for the most part. I think the acting was good for the most part, and again, I'm not an expert, so I mean, it was satisfactory for me. Sarah Cameron carried the show. She was very hot, very attractive. So very true, very true. What else? What else do we have here? Also, again, this isn't like if this were 2010, I wouldn't give it credit for it. But nowadays, every show has to be like so pro gay, has to be so glee, has to be so, trans whatever. Okay, in 2021. But this show doesn't really touch that at all, and I appreciate that because it's modern day and they still don't really posify it. They don't really homoize it. Okay, and I don't want to get popped by the censors on YouTube, so I'm not going to be like saying keywords. But overall, I appreciate that it's not like overtly leftist. I don't really see like how it's promoting that sort of stuff. It's very 2005. It is very normal stuff. Red Eagle would call it trad degeneracy, and I agree. Okay, it's reasonable. It's moderate. Like not ideal, but it's a moderate. Okay, straight couples. Whatever. So I'll give it credit for that. And what else? So okay, so really good plot, good timing, like good sequencing, good amount of episodes, good cast, good acting, right? Good production value, good setting. I like it. I like the ending. It should have a 3rd season, and that's about it. So the only problem I would have is like little nitpicks here and there. The black girl in particular annoyed me a lot. Like she made a lot of stupid decisions in the show, and also the boys treated like she was more attractive than she was. So because of that, I have to dock it a point just off of that bitch alone. And then another point you could deduct from the 10 being, a bunch of little nitpicks that I won't mention right now because I forgot them already. So 8 out of 10, solid show, would recommend if you're in my demographic. Okay, I'm 18, but if you're like 30, I don't know how this would appeal to you, but okay, I mean, you can try, fuck it, why not? Anyways, thank you for watching this unconventional video.